that intermission and that video that Josh and I made.
Good Lord.
So yeah, as you can tell, we're gonna get into some spoilers from the events of last episode, because I can't believe it was just last episode.
Yeah.
And
Feels like
we're
forever
dropping a
ago.
spoiler that none of the players know yet.
Yes, we are going to be dropping some spoilers.
Yeah.
And we're going to be doing the giveaway for that dice coin.
And-
so stick around. And what?
And Reardon's playlist.
Oh, and
Yeah.
Reardon made a playlist that we're going to release on Twitter at the end of this episode. So,
There's so
all
many-
things that you have to look forward to. And there's going to be some animals, because they think they're the stars of this show too.
Are they wrong?
So let's hop right back into it with some questions about Reardon's death. It seemed like
It's
Wait,
it's
Reardon
weird to
died?
I should have caught up.
damn it.
Should watch that last episode.
Damn it.
Damn it.
I can't watch the end. I legitimately can't.
Oh, the last episode where Reardon died?
You spoilers.
And Kendrick?
We're forgetting
And
about
Kendrick.
the real character who died here, Kendrick.
Oh. Careful.
Uh-oh.
Okay,
Careful.
settle down, settle
No,
down.
no, okay. It's okay.
But this one is for Brian and John.
Yeah.
How much of that final screen was scripted, and how much of it was determined by you?
Do you want to start or do you want me to go? Where's the rock? Oh. Do you want
I'll start. So,
Yeah.
John came to me with the idea, and he talked to me, have I ever told you about Reardon's perfect death? And I was like, that's an odd thing to say. And I said, no, and we can say, we'll talk about it. And then we kept having other streams and other stuff to do. And then finally, I think it was Sunday night after improv rehearsal, we sat down and talked about it for a little while. And he had some ideas, and it dovetailed nicely with some things that I was planning. And so I said, okay, I got a couple of tweaks for you. And I said, take this out, and you don't have time for that. But otherwise, I kind of greenlit it, and we just set it into motion at the appropriate time when the right events happened, and that's how it was going to play out. And I'll let John...
So, I am the architect of your destruction, or my own, I guess. I from pretty early on, after Ara was born, I sort of had a ideal way that I wanted Reardon to go. And I do find it funny that even in my ideal circumstances, Reardon didn't make it to the end. Like, he was never going to, like, live and see the final battle. But it was something that I knew that if Reardon was going to die, I wanted him to die in a way that it couldn't be reversed. And honestly, it was done very well in a narrative sense. Thank you very much. Because like Kendrick died earlier in the episode, and so we had already exhausted like what to do, what you can do when someone is disintegrated. It's not a lot. So when like that kind of solidified, okay, this is the way we want to go. And now I'm not going to be back next week or whatever. This is like a final thing. This is like Reardon's dead. But yeah, I wanted it to be a final thing, and I also wanted it to be, because the first time he died, he was really pissed off at Z because, you know, originally Reardon wasn't a great guy, and so he wanted, when he died the first time, he died in battle with his friends, and he thought, like, that's what mattered. But when he died this most recent time, the real one, I guess, he didn't just die in battle, he died for something. It wasn't a death, it was a sacrifice. And that was definitely how I wanted Reardon to go in the long route. So yeah, and there were some things that I sort of wanted to do that we may be able to like work into some other things, but that's pretty much it. I can't really say a whole lot more. But it was definitely, you know, co-done between myself and Brian. And we sort of knew going in that episode that that's what was going to happen. And I felt awful all day. And before we even sat down, I was like getting antsy. And Garrison, our first conversation, in that episode, which that's part of the episode that I can watch, where we're having a conversation about doing what's right, even if it's hard. And you asked the question, well, what if you don't know? And I was like, well, I guess you're just going to have to risk it. And I almost broke at that moment because I knew everything that was going to go in place there. So
Did the rest of the players know, or was it a secret?
It was secret.
It was. I mean, some people knew bits and pieces, but I don't know if they necessarily knew it was going to be enacted rather. So, but yeah, there were a lot of going back. There were a lot of hints about what's coming.
Some foreshadowing.
Yeah, and even again from the people that didn't know that it was happening, and so it was pretty good. So
Yeah. Well, thank you. It was heartbreaking. And
good. That was the entire point.
That was.
Heart disintegrating.
Too soon.
It's
For
failed.
this one is kind of mostly for you, Brian, but everyone else can also chime in. What has been the biggest adjustment in switching to a stream from a home game that was just a bunch of improv friends?
There's been a couple of changes adjustment-wise, and yeah, this is definitely one that I think everybody can weigh in on. But it's become more like a show and less like a game. There's certain things that you have to be aware of, things like cutting down the crosstalk on the table, things like if you have a joke in the past where that joke would get flogged and flogged and flogged, or as we like to call it, beating a dead unicorn. I mean, that unicorn would have no flesh on its bones left by the end of the night. It's like, okay, hit the unicorn once the joke lands, move on, and let some other story things happen so that we can keep the plot advancing and so that we can keep moving. And so those are a couple of the things that have had to change.
From the player perspective, what do you think has kind of been the biggest adjustment?
There's cameras pointed at us now,
Yeah.
Good.
and lights.
The lights are because this was my first week here at the McCoy House with the stream set up. And the lights and the cameras, they do add this weird
there's
dynamic
pressure.
that makes it a little bit different, but it does add a fun energy that's definitely enjoyable.
Well, and there's lots of things, and we haven't perfected this yet by far. We still work on eliminating crosstalk, but there's still going to be issues with it. We still we all as players, and I know that everybody out there who plays D&D and stuff like that, we all have that tendency to the scene's not on us, and so we're just here. I mean, it's not, you're interested, you're listening, you're engaged, but you've got bored face on, and so we've all kind of gotten to be a little bit more aware of when we have our bored faces on, even though we're not feeling bored. It just being engaged in the face as well, and that's something I work on too. I mean, there are just little things that you don't really consider beforehand. Not being able to just go up and use the bathroom whenever you feel like using the bathroom, that sort of thing. So it's little things like that you don't think about, that all of a sudden you go, oh wait, hang on, oh gee.
Yes, because one thing before the cameras were rolling, I would get up and I would pace. And a lot of the time I would get all jumpy and excited because particularly when we were pulling pranks and stuff that totally didn't matter, but I would get all jumpy and excited, and I so cannot do that in the stream.
Well, there was a stretch of time where Billy didn't even have a seat at the table.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
he couldn't sit still, and so it's he'd have a stool at the end of the table and he would just walk everywhere.
Yeah, I mean there is. It creates it more uniform, sort of no, we're here to do this, and so focusing on the game does create a difference. So
Yeah, for last summer, I was here having DM, and then over Christmas I was doing it as well. And there would be times when you would take a group and I would take a group, and it's all right, half the party is going over here, and so we would have two concurrent storylines. Z and Belgians, who is now gone, bought a bar at one point while the rest of the party was on kind of a pointless mission. And that was happening at the same time. You guys still have a bar, by the way.
yes, we do. Well,
The vampire bar?
I don't.
Yeah, the vampire bar. So So like we can't do that anymore, obviously.
What's that play? Is that the Marbled Monk or did the name change?
The Marbled Monk, it was originally.
They changed. The name is now Dragon's Hearth, although
It's probably going to change.
So
again.
probably
Dragon's
going to
Heart.
change into something
I would
a little
think
bit more
so.
on brand,
Yeah.
maybe. But yeah.
You
So
never can tell these things.
I got a great idea.
what?
The Tipsy Dragon.
Oh,
Perfect.
I like it.
Near me.
Let's
all right, so
do
who wants the rock?
I'll take
You
it.
gotta go in the pattern, dude.
Yeah.
Look, okay?
It's been the same for
You
like an
have-
hour.
You have ink.
Yeah, so everything everyone else said. Plus, also, I used to be allowed to hold Jaden's hand, and now I'm told that's distracting. But I'm doing it now, guys. Ha!
Well, it's okay now. Well, that's the thing, because
Nope.
You don't have the
You
answer.
don't have the answer on.
There. Sorry, Paul, you can't. Do you want to buy? Too bad. Come on. No, there are little things like we used to have these things where we would do like marathon gaming sessions. Like I remember one particular like Saturday night where everybody just happened to be in the same spot, and it was like, "Do you guys want to come over and just like do a session really quick, like for an hour or 2 hours?" And everybody was like, "Hell yeah!" Like everybody came over. We ordered pizza. Like we for my birthday. Like this will be the first time like we can't do like the 24
Says
hour.
who?
We'll still do
Or
a.
can we?
says who? We can still do
It
this.
might not be chosen family, but we should still celebrate.
It might not
We-
all
we
be
can,
chosen.
we can still do something, but yeah, it's just little things, but we've been able to trade that for being able to share it with all of you and all of the viewers and everybody that kind of like adds insight and that is as much as we were emotionally invested in Reardon's passing, like
Yeah.
they were just as invested, and it helped take a little bit of the. It helped take a little bit of the pain away. And Wolf, I agree, we do need a Wicked marathon session. Maybe we'll do that.
Yeah, but like last summer we played Fiasco like almost every single night.
Yeah,
it
there
felt
was,
like,
like,
and you know, when we weren't playing Fiasco, we were playing D&D or something else.
Yeah, you
So,
guys
like,
had a 13-day gaming
we
marathon.
did. We had a 13-day in honor of my birthday.
No, it was 20.
It was 20 because I was turning 20, and so we did 20 days in a row where every day we were playing D&D or Fiasco. And so, like, we love to game, we love to do this, and that's why we're doing a channel now.
Yeah.
And we're excited to be with other people who enjoy doing it as much as we do, who we can share it with.
I still have my Chester Brothers character sheet.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh man, we should do a Chester Brothers sometime. So yeah. What is your favorite spell or ability that your character has?
This is stupid to say favorite, but just most used. If you're a ranger, most used is Hunter's Mark. Like that's just gonna because you don't have a lot of spells. I mean, I guess ability. I don't know
Colossus?
Colossus helps. Colossus is hugely helpful.
That oath bow.
And that oath bow is
That oath bow,
amazing
though.
and dangerous because that oath bow gives me. It's like 3d6s, but I have to like make that person my sworn enemy, and if I don't manage to kill them or they don't happen to die during the session, I'm at disadvantage on all of my like fighting for 7 days. It's awful, so it's a scary one, but it's really good when I use it.
Disintegrate. No, I'm kidding.
Wow.
God, that would have been horrible.
You're a terrible person.
No. Okay. So realistically, probably Chromatic Orb. I've gotten a lot of use out of. It's been very. Thank you, Fire. Bad job. Look, it was funny. Okay. I thought it was funny. But no.
Nobody else did.
I did.
Okay, well
There you
nobody
go.
asked you.
So
You
Chromatic
don't have
Orb.
to answer wrong.
Chromatic Orb, I've gotten a lot of use out of, although there is a spell that will always hold the favorite spot in my heart, and that is Fog Cloud. So, yeah.
Did you ever cast Fog?
I did actually once. I
Just
cast
once?
it once, and it did literally nothing.
It just occurred to me, if you ate that spicy chip, it wouldn't have mattered because Reardon would have died like 2 sessions later. Remember that?
Oh, so you could upgrade your
So you could upgrade your
talent.
talent? It would have been so useless.
Honestly, not saying that it. Hold on. Not saying that it ever will. However, if for whatever reason Reardon would come back, the minute he lays his hands on that freaking Talon. Apologies. It better be upgraded.
Yeah. Nosrag used to love guiding bolts, but recently he's kind of been stuck on using healing spells.
Oh yeah, a cleric that heals. Like
Whoa.
that seems like such a burden.
Oh,
Such hardship.
Boring. Let's see.
We
there was-
personally like the healing spells.
yeah, no, I'm a fan. Well, I was a fan.
Yeah. One of my favorite spells that it's only worked once to my favor, but it was the coolest moment for me. Is destroy undead. There was one time we were fighting an army of undead. There were 20 of these guys, and I just went in the room, pulled out my holy symbol, said the word, and I killed 15 of these guys at once. I was eating so many bad guy gumdrops.
Yeah.
My mouth was just full of gumdrops. I'm bad guys.
That was when we were saving the elves of the Moonwood.
Yeah.
And
that
Trogdor.
was
We met
in-
Trogdor.
That was in the murder house basement.
In Westgate.
I saved Trogdor. That was one of my favrite things.
Hey John, how do you spell Westgate?
For the record, no, hold on. Alright, so everyone, everyone knows how cities in D&D have really complicated names. We had gotten teleported into a place that we didn't know. It was a murder house, the monsters. And we got out, we had a bunch of people that were held hostage inside the murder house. And we went outside and we were like, we don't know where we are. So I went up to a local and this so would have worked. Swear to God. Son of a bitch. So this would have worked because cities in D&D, they have such complicated names. So I was like, this is going to... Right? It would have worked if we weren't in Westgate. Because I went up to this dude and I was like, hey, terribly sorry. I can't manage to spell the name of this city. Can you help me out? And the dude acted like I was dumb.
He kind of flipped you off. He thought you were being a jerk.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I was just trying... If it was a complicated... It would have worked.
So Brian acted like you were dumb, huh?
Yes.
Wow.
Someone have the thing.
I think it's really ironic the fact that I'm a druid and I hate necromancers basically, and I love the necromancy spells that I know. I'm talking Blight, which I use all the time. Feign Death is so cool. You can cause somebody dead for an hour and show the symptoms of a dead person. So that's fun. And anti-life shell, just shove everybody away from you. I think those really, really round out Kat's character, but also a fan favorite is she just lights her fingers on fire because she likes to look at it. You know, it's like Cats with the red dot, only it's from her and it's fire.
So many quotes just in there. Symptoms
like Cats
of being dead.
It's like Cats with the red dot, but nothing like that.
Yeah,
I think he's dead. Really?
It's like
What are
this,
symptoms?
you know.
We need to homebrew you a spell that's red laser.
Yeah, please get on it.
Spot on the wall.
Yeah.
Attack of the red dot.
I went on WebMD. The symptoms say I'm dead.
What are your symptoms? I'm not
D&D.
breathing. WebMD.
Web for MD&D.
WebMD. Oh,
Anyway, you're...
Anytime I could be clever, rather than anytime you could solve a problem by circumnavigating it, because on the destruction front, you guys had it covered between guiding bolts and between Callie's smash. We had that covered. So anytime Z could do something that was clever, I still remember the time we were doing a naval battle, and I basically picked up Griff high up in the air and waited till he started falling towards the ship, cast Enlarge upon him, which doubled his massive size and made him weigh, I think, 8 times as much or 4 times as much, and he basically just dropped from the sky and fell through 2 decks of the ship, and then had the top half of himself outside of the ship, people and trying to kick people on the bottom deck of the ship, and anytime I could try to be clever.
It was kind of like Animal in the climax of the Muppet movie.
Yeah. Yes.
What? Spoilers.
Yeah.
Damn it! I was
It's
the
the
last
second
time
act. We can reveal
We
slightly.
now we
okay,
can,
yeah. For the Muppets?
For the Muppets.
Yeah.
We couldn't have any Muppet spoilers during the first half, but now
Right.
we can
But
say-
Now, spoilers
Mine,
loose,
mine was
guys.
very specific.
Yeah, no, I was. And
No Muppet spoilers.
No Muppets.
I had rules. That was rule number 5. was-
Did you know Gonzo's an alien?
There were 347 rules. Took 2 hours.
If you were as a player, because we know you've played since the beginning of D&D.
Did you know Brian invented
D&D
D&D?
day one.
That was a weird way to call Brian ancient.
No, but like, so all of the character classes you've ever played, like, what has been your favorite ability?
Of all of my characters, my favorite ability.
Or spell, or skill,
spell.
you know.
That's tough. 'Cause there's so many. It's like
There's a lot.
it's like saying what's your favorite letter of the alphabet. You know,
There's so many good ones.
L.
L. No, definitely not L. It is not
It's
L.
cursive. It's pretty in cursive.
Yeah,
I know
but-
my favorite spell. My favorite spell, without a doubt, is message. There's
Yes,
so
you're-
much use out of that spell.
I got laid using that spell.
You
You
did.
did.
Yeah, I did.
You passed on your
Your
legacy.
character got. Sorry. Well, I don't know. I don't know your history, but you know.
Next question.
Oh, come back to me.
Okay, I'll
That'll be the finale. Build
I was gonna
suspense.
say, wait, no, I figured out one line, and that's all the time we
And
have.
that's all the time we have for
Roll credits.
Where was the question I was going to ask? If your character became friends with a character from one of our other shows, who would be their BFF?
Oh, who's got the rock?
I got the rock.
Oh.
You got the rock? Here, I give Garrison the rock.
So I've definitely watched all the shows on this channel.
I'll take the rock.
Nosferag and Garrison from Disney Devouring Dread would
What
be
the? No.
worst
That
friends.
that is against the rules that I just
Garrison
made up.
from Devouring Dread would be like, Nosferag, you think
But
you know what you're doing,
backwards.
but you're just like weird. And Nosferag would be like, yeah. They'd hang out and have a good time, but I don't think they'd like each other, but they'd hang out and have a good time.
Who would Z hang out
Who
with?
would
would Z hang out with?
So
Z?
who would
Yeah.
Kat hang out
Yeah,
with and who would
so
Z?
Kat's best friend from other shows.
Assuming that I've watched
I'm sure
every
you-
show.
Well,
on
you know.
this
That,
channel,
we do produce a lot of content.
Yeah, there is a lot. I'm not gonna lie.
I would like to say that Kat's nature is to not have friends.
That is 100% on brand.
No, that's I can see
Do you
that.
guys have one?
Okay, well, Callie would not get along with Zuki at all. Not even a little bit. In fact, she would probably bond with Reggie over being mad about pretty much everything Zuki does. She would not get along. I'm thinking through Wicked mainly, but like she wouldn't get along with Nick. Sorry, Nick.
I think she would be best
She-
friends with Carmen.
she might
Web of
she might get
Lies.
along with Carmen from Web of Lies. She also might get along with Keel
Yeah.
from Wicked because she
The
Nick
no-nonsense.
messes around too much. Zephyr would just annoy her. Sorry, Zephyr, but
Good water.
yeah, she might get along with Keel or Reggie over just being annoyed at Zuki. Yeah, or Carmen. Yeah. So anybody?
I unfortunately haven't seen as much Web of Lies as I have Wicked. I've been told Carmen. I have been told Reardon and Carmen would either get along or kill each other. And I'm fine with that answer, actually. I would say, I don't know. I feel like I would want to maybe hang out with Nick from Something Wicked. Maybe see what he's about, because I've unfortunately not seen a whole lot of that, but I have seen some. But yeah, I feel like either Carmen or Nick I'm feeling, so.
Zephyr. Z and Zephyr come from
Yeah,
very
no, I can see
similar
that.
backgrounds, and he misses Beljinx so
Ooh,
much
yeah.
that I think Zephyr and Z would get along swimmingly. Like, I think they would be like the two like kids that were just like coming up with like playing RPGs in the corner while everybody else is like planning
Officers
and
and
like
bosses.
playing officers and bosses, and like Zephyr singing songs and Z would harken back to Beljinx and building stages for him and doing light shows and fireworks, and it would just like Yes, us Z's got to stick together. So Zephyr and Z,
Aw.
and followed a very close second by Zuki. Like I think he would make a little like.
Is it
Ooh,
the Z
you think?
thing? Is that it?
I think
It's a Z thing.
I think what it is I think he would be so enamored with the fact that she can turn into any animal that she thinks
Oh.
of. That Z would just be coming up with, and here's a little saddle for when you're a cockroach, and I built you a little pouch, and I
Oh
built
my
you this,
gosh.
and it was like, here's this, and Zuki would just be like, oh, okay, thank you so much, like, I appreciate it.
I'm not going to carry around my cockroach saddle
I
everywhere.
think it's all
sorry.
the Z's, yeah, I think,
Yeah.
but Zephyr definitely, followed by Zuki.
Now, for you, Brian, if you were to import a character from one of like the player characters from Wicked or Web of Lies into this campaign to terrorize the players, who would you pick?
Terrorize.
Oh.
Wait, import a player character to
Yeah,
terrorize them?
Yeah, like as a cameo, especially
as like a cameo / NPC kind of thing. Like obviously, like
To
you would
terrorize specifically?
Well, you
Crossover
know,
episode style.
you know.
Crossover episode style.
Yeah.
I feel like we would have to amp up the power, obviously, because the Chosen Family, they're all playing around level 12, and these other campaigns are playing
much
around
lower,
4
yeah.
and 6. But I feel like importing Kenny would torment them mightily.
True.
I wasn't already dead.
Kenny is a country western bard from the modern verse.
Kenny
If
is
I
a
wasn't
gay, half-orc
already
country
dead.
western singer.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
That's all you need to know.
he,
That's all you get.
in spite of the fact that Kenny, super high charisma, successful, he's very insecure and doesn't like when people don't like him
Or don't recognize
or
him.
don't recognize
So
him.
you're bringing Belgians back.
And so,
There's like, no.
Oh.
Kenny makes Belgians look tame.
and so he'll start casting spells on you to try and manipulate
He's
your
really big
mind
into
to get
charm
you to
spells.
like him.
Well,
Low.
most of us are elves. We can't be charmed.
That's why it would be a not fun experience.
Right, but I was told to terrorize. This
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
absolutely
Oh yeah, that would
terrorize.
definitely terrorize.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Good
Um,
question.
Yeah, jeez.
That'd be, yeah. So, in this campaign, who has been your favorite NPC? Starting with you, because your favorite NPC to make, I guess.
I already know mine.
I'm gonna steal it.
You motherfucker, don't!
Yeah.
No!
No, Brian gets to answer first. Who's been your favorite to make?
So my favorite to make, even though Chandra has been a lot of fun to play because he was unexpected. He came in as a plot complication for Callie because it was while Tracy was still somewhat new at the game, and she was kind of tuning out when there wasn't combat going on, and it was a way to give her some non-combat gaming going on, and it just kind of the layers that we had to that
Snowballs.
story took on a life of its own and got really interesting. But the most fun to create has to be Og the Unvarnished, our Oracle.
Oh yeah. That was so long ago.
It was, but
Oh,
you got
God.
to tell the story about
so
Og, 'cause I love
Og the Unvarnished. Maya and I were trying to come up, and we both had campaigns going at the same time
Yeah.
with players, and we both liked the idea of Og the Unvarnished so much that we were each going to use the same encounter and the same map,
Yeah.
and it was a race to see whose players would get there first. Mine did.
No,
Mine got there first. They did.
There's about to be a fight
As
here.
much as I have faith in us, we probably didn't.
No, we did. Honestly.
Okay.
I'm
But
gonna like go search through.
But when Maya and I drew the map, we did it old school on the blue and white graph paper. And if you looked at the map from the sky, it spelled out the words "It's not that hard" with arrows pointing into the middle of the maze to the entrance.
Yeah.
And they wandered through this maze, all kinds of weird maze tropes that we kind of tilted on their ear. And they got
super nice minotaurs.
there's the super
Oh my
nice
gosh, the super
minotaurs
nice Minotaurs.
that-
She was straight up gonna kill them.
Yeah, well, you can talk about them. I won't go into too much detail on the Minotaurs. And then they get to the middle for the Oracle, and they have to prove their worthiness in a game of riddles. And Maya and I just took standard riddles.
My favorite.
And but he had different answers for the standard riddles. Were you thinking the one leg?
Yeah.
It's like what walks on 4 legs in the morning, 3 legs,
Or 2
2 legs in
legs.
the afternoon, and 3 legs in the evening. And they're like, oh, it's man, obviously. And he's like, what? That's dumb. Why would you walk on 4 legs in the morning? And they start explaining the whole symbol. He's like, no, it's a Tarrasque. It has 4 legs. Adventurers cut off 2 of them, and by night, one of them has grown back. Obviously. And they were just not at all. But fortunately, they got the idea behind it by the 3rd riddle and were able to solve it. And he started more or less because we were looking for material online, and we found a rune, and I don't remember where the hell this rune came from, but it was just this weird symbol, and the translation of it was, my divination is helpful and accurate.
Yeah.
And that's how Og was born.
So if you're wondering where we find inspiration, it's just random internet stuff.
Go ahead.
It would have to be the man that I love more than anyone else in the world. I have let him into my heart and my soul. And as of right now, he's in charge of my League of Assassins and my shipping organization, which is Reginald McStubbins. And for the life of me, I cannot tell you why I love him so much.
Because his name is Reginald.
It might just be that he's a drug dealer.
Reginald McStubbins, the first time they met him, was a low-level street corner drug dealer who was a one-off that I didn't have stats for. That was just, they were looking for somebody on the street to ask directions of. And they kept going back to him for more stuff, and he became an actual person.
I literally, one of our party members, he's not here anymore, but he was like super wasted, and I had to go take care of something, and I literally had McStubbins babysit our other character, this drug dealer who I had no reason to trust. I had just met that evening. I was like, here, watch him. I have to go take care of some things. I came back, everything was right as rain. So he was super trustworthy, and yeah,
Most
so
trustworthy drug dealer.
yeah, and right now he is the one that Reardon left in charge of his League of Assassins and shipping company, which he got after defeating his. Well, no, you defeated his big bad, and then we defeated another big. It was a whole thing, but yeah, it was yeah. So, anyone else who wants to? I should stop asking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The League of Assassins / shipping company.
No, it's great. It's
Oh
great.
man.
Yeah, the one what immediately stuck out to me when you guys asked the question was like what's like a super memorable thing? And you guys mentioned already the polite minotaurs. Like those like some of the first NPCs where I'm like, okay, this is hilarious. This is so funny. We were in this maze, like this labyrinth. And these minotaurs showed up, and we were all geared up to like fight them or whatever because they're minotaurs, and you know how like labyrinths and minotaurs are. And then they're like, wait, these minotaurs know this place. We should just try and ask them. And we're like, hey, do you know where the end of the maze is? And they're like, yeah. Here's a map. In fact, if you look at the floor, there's like little arrows that you can follow too.
The level of overthinking when you guys were in that encounter was so great because like the whole thing was designed to like point you, like if you just completely trusted him and just followed all directions, you would have no problems. And you're like, no, we can't do that.
Yeah, there was literal arrows on the floor that we didn't notice, and they're like, oh yeah, just follow those. Here's a map. I think we were like, asked, is there a map? And they're like, yeah,
Of course, there's a map.
Yeah, here's the map. They were super nice. That was a good one. But I think in recent times, I love my interactions with Amrani. I think that's so fun for Nasarag. Like this literal evil dragon and this kid who's supposed to be like, he believes himself to be the pinnacle of all that's good, and he's not. But he thinks he is.
You should tell the story of your meeting. And
Oh,
your
God.
Your first
Yeah.
encounter.
I
of the,
think I kind of touched upon it in the last session, but Amrani, we were on a mission looking for one of our infinity gems.
Oh.
One of the gems that could cause the end of the world and all that. And we came to this clearing, and there was a woman chained down, and like she was talking about how there was a dragon coming, and it's like like she's the sacrifice, and if she's not sacrificed, her entire town's going to be destroyed, and they have to like keep like sending these sacrifices, and we're heroes, and we're like, what? We are heroes. We're not going to let that happen. We are going to rescue you and everyone. So I think
It was like a D&D version of the trolley problem from Philosophy.
yeah. And our decision was we'll just save everyone from the trolley. So we figure out how to get this woman free, like total damsel in distress type. Like ride her to her village to like warn everyone, and Z and I are like, what were we riding on? Was it Jip?
It was Jip.
Was it Jip at the time? Yeah. Our mechanical dragon, like, and I was using like magic to like make my voice super loud and like ring the bell in the middle of town, telling everyone that like the dragon might show up to their village and destroy everything because we aren't gonna let anyone be sacrificed. So this damsel like gave Nosferag a kiss. Was like, "Thank you so much, you're my hero." And Nosferag's like, "Yeah, I am." Of course I am. I'm a hero. He didn't say that. But later it turns out that the green dragon was, in fact, that damsel. And while they were off with all this shenanigans, all of our gems that were with the rest of the party were stolen, and then Nosferag got angry at Amrani because all that nonsense and trickery led to the bad guys getting the most powerful objects in the universe. So that's why Nosferag has some resentment towards Amrani.
So it's like the trolley problem. If you save the girl and then it turns out she's a trolley.
Are you a trolley? You have to tell me if you're a trolley.
Twix, the girl is the trolley.
It's the Kobayashi Maru of trolley problems.
Answer right.
I have an answer. I don't know. I'm very new to the party. I haven't met many people, and I don't have many memories. But I think my favorite interaction that I ever had with an NPC has just been talking to random animals and hearing all of the different voices that come from it.
A dinosaur.
My favorite being the dinosaur. What do you eat? Grass. Trees.
God, it took so
It is so funny. I still say it. I still quote this. So, thanks for that.
I'm glad I could give you that gift.
That
There you
takes
go.
the cake.
Oh gosh. I was gonna say Harkle because he's like weird and quirky and all that, but I changed my mind and I'm gonna say Rosie because I'm sorry if you're gonna say Rosie. Because she's got a fire that Callie can really appreciate, and so I've had fun. We had an argument at one point.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember if this was because we were sometimes posting, doing PvPs, in between, in
Yeah,
weeks
it was,
in between.
it was on one of the posts.
So I think it was post-based.
Oh, yeah.
It was
I
after the
remember
sparring
this.
match.
We were on
She
a
had a
ship.
sparring match with Griff.
And I think you were. I think Maya was running
piloting.
Rosie most of the time, and we just had a knockdown, drag-out fight, and it was amazing. I don't know. We just keep getting back to Callie fighting with people, and these are the people she likes best,
Yeah.
which probably says something about her. I liken her to Beatrice in Taming the Shrew, but yeah, Rosie has always been a really good sparring partner that Callie respects, and so I really like her
Which
because
is
of that.
it's interesting because a lot of the people who Callie respects are very physically based, and Rosie's a gnome illusionist. She is not physically based at all. So it's interesting to have that much respect for each other's strengths. And they come
Yeah.
from such different walks. I like
I love
that.
it. So
I didn't get to interact with them, but my favorite NPC was how Brian portrayed the Dragonborn from Beljinx's village. I felt it was the closest we've ever come to a kind of a Trekkie, the Klingon sort of society, like a very combat heavy base. But it was so vastly different from everything that we had encountered up until that point. Society was run a much different way. But it was the first time. I was so proud of you for your world building, for how you managed to take us to an area that was so completely outside of the norm, out of everything you had done up until that point. So and Z didn't even get to interact with them. It was all Callie interacting with Dragonborn and stuff like that. So, but I enjoyed seeing that sort of new society.
This next question is for just Nosrag. Nosrag is not your average cleric, to say the least. So how can you explain and like describe his relationship with Bahamut, his god? Because it's not normal.
I feel like it's different because Nosrag didn't seek Bahamut. Bahamut sought Nosrag. You know, most clerics, as far as I can tell, kind of seek their god and go after trying to, like, I know about this god and I want to serve them. I feel it, and Nosrag was kind of the opposite of that. Bahamut saw something in him, in this kid who was just like a loser, like a total like street criminal loser, and it kind of gave Nosrag a new outlook on life. That this guy who was probably just going to live his life and die and as nothing, kind of got like a new chance, like a new life. And Nosrag almost completely, like, out of like shame and excitement for the future, like both those things, disregarded his entire like life before, like shut all of that out, like almost 150 years of experience gone, and he almost started fresh as like a new person. So because he feels like he was chosen, because he was, because he feels like he was chosen, he like wants to like serve Bahamut and wants to like do his best, but his like upbringing and just lack of life experience and sort of disregard for the life experience he has kind of leads him to not always make the best choices, but he's trying, you know? So he wants to please Bahamut. He really, really wants to, and he wants to do what's right. Ultimately, he just wants to do the right thing. He just wants to be there to help people. He wants to
What is
show...
Nosrag doing his best?
He's doing his best, and his best isn't always great. He'll mess up. He'll like get into weird, dark places when like things go bad. But I think his relationship with Bahamut is different because like it was like set up differently than any other cleric, and he like has that feeling of wanting to, like in the beginning he just wanted to be a hero and he didn't know what that meant. He heard stories and read, had books read to him, and he knew that heroes went off and fought bad guys. So that's why at the beginning he wasn't a great healer, because he's like, I know from stories the hero swings in on a rope with his sword drawn and like stabs the guy and goes, haha, I win, So Nosrag wanted to do that. Then later he sort of learned, being a hero means helping people, so that comes from healing. And then later he may learn other things, like being a hero comes from sacrifice. It comes from like giving up what you want for what others want. And sometimes he'll like go too far into extremes on both sides of everything. But that's sort of who he is, and he's very different as a cleric. But I think it all makes sense, Everything that his his whole life experience and everything that he is, everything he does, I see it makes sense for who he is. And I don't know, I just find it's so fun to play. It's so fun to explore.
It's a fun dynamic to like play with as like a DM and as a viewer. This is kind of for everyone, and even for you can kind of answer this a little bit. But what is one story you wish you could have followed up on? And what is one story you wished they had followed up on that you are at liberty to say?
I kind of want him to answer first.
I'm gonna go last.
You can go. Okay, he's gonna go last.
What the
hell? He makes the rules.
I asked this question and I don't have an answer.
There's one thing, I think we even discussed this earlier. There was one time when we were being attacked, there was all these assassins, the ones that Reardon later became in charge of.
Yeah.
And they cornered me and who else, a few others.
It was us,
Yeah.
Thorngil, and then Z was like kind of hiding because he had kind of departed from the group, and so it was us and Thorngil because we had just
He was
gotten
in
to
the
town.
he was in the Artificer/Wizard Guild.
And he was in the guild,
Yeah.
and we were like knocking on the door, and then they had cornered us
Yeah,
in
they
the alley.
cornered us, and like there was no way we were going to get out of this one. And then bolts of lightning came from the sky and killed all of them. And we never figured out what did that.
Yeah, we like.
kind of had assumptions like maybe it was Bahamut, but also I don't really know if there's any like lightning-y spells that Bahamut does. or-
Also, he's not allowed to affect the world, like
or
not
is he?
directly.
I don't know. Like we like had no idea what happened there. I don't think we ever found out the answer.
No, I don't think
That's
we
a
did.
good one.
Anyone else?
Sure. Right in the beginning, one of the first encounters we had, I mean, not the first, but early on, we had an encounter with these frog demon people called the Slotty. I believe Slotty, right? Correct? Okay.
Yeah.
And Callie actually got impregnated by one, and that got all taken care of. But
That would not
but
happen.
and found out that these were the things. I mean, they had like gems embedded in their skulls, and that's how they were being controlled. And they were what killed off most of the elves of the Moonwood. And we've been given the impression that storyline isn't completely over. That somehow it connects, but we really haven't seen them since well over a year ago, if not a year and a half. So I guess I'm looking forward to figuring out how they really connect to all of this. So, anyone else?
I'll take it. I'm really excited to see more information about the drought, especially because recently we got hints of my character's partner, Cal, being on a mission with apparently some elves from the Moonwood, and she's tracking down some of the Banbury. I can't even pronounce my own
That's
words.
There's a lot of
I know.
different names.
The Banger group. So she's somewhere off doing something, and I'm really excited to see that kind of link up to our storyline as well, and kind of get to play along with some of the characters from my past and see how they develop as NPCs as well. Yeah.
This is a weird one because strictly speaking, it has been playing out, but everything that's going on with Garamond. Because Garamond disappeared pretty early on. Because we started the game in like February, and the player that played Garamond moved in like May. So
Like last.
yeah, last year. And so we didn't get to spend a whole lot of time with him. However, he was part of the original group. And so he was kind of part of the fabric of who we started out as. And he just disappeared off the face of the planet. We've seen him once since then, and that was thanks to Z sort of like teleported him in from a different dimension because that player was visiting.
It's amazing.
Crazy random happenstance. But we saw him the one time, and we've also met two of the people that are in his new adventuring party. And so we've sort of interacted with him. I personally am not aware of everything that's been going on, and that's something that I would like to know more about. But
Can I share a
yeah,
little bit
that's
about that?
Sure.
And say so.
oh cool! I'm getting my wish
You're
already.
getting
Cool.
your wish already.
Awesome.
So like a little known fact is that my very first D&D character was named Delaria. She was a half elf rogue, and Josh's was Trogdor, who has appeared on the channel. And so we kind of they kind of like got woven into the Chosen family a little bit. But Delaria and Garamond met up and are with a very powerful mage who kind of has like a house, boat, and castle kind of situation where he's got like a mansion that's between planes. And they're
That's
staying,
what we should have done.
yeah, and they're staying there, and then he's sending them out on missions that kind of have to do with
Like Charlie's Angels.
yeah, with what
Very
the
similar,
chosen,
yes.
yeah, with the Chosen family situation,
But more stabby.
yeah, a lot more stabby. But like their first interaction was Ilaria got like locked in a room, and Garamond saved her from I think it was a drow.
It was a drow.
Because you love drow.
That sounds like Garamond.
Yay, perfect.
Cool.
You know,
All right.
so yeah,
Now I have no further questions.
Because everything's
Next.
connected.
everything is connected.
Everything.
We had this huge sort of freaking thing on Pirate Island with this temple and this magical item and this like
Oh, yeah, we still haven't
area
gone back.
that was like the site of this huge sort of like ceremony. It was very reminiscent of Demon Reach.
Totally forgot about that.
And we just have not gone back and explored any of that and figured out why the dread pirate guy was trying to get to the island and what this major area was and what all these creatures were. And like, I feel like it's a dungeon where we're like, like, and we just walked
Most
right
powerful
past
item
it.
in the
Like,
universe. Okay.
yeah, like, and there could have been like loots and stuff in there, and there's definitely like plot stuff. But I feel like because we killed him, like it sort of closed the door. Like we could always go back, but now there's other things for us to pursue.
There's
Or
definitely-
Pirate Island.
There's.
Yeah.
You guys are busy emotionally. I think. I feel.
We'll get over
Well,
no.
according to the universe, none of y'all know about Reardon yet. I'm
Yeah.
the only holder of the information.
No, you were telling us what was
Yeah. You
Oh
said.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I didn't say that he disintegrated.
Yeah, you know,
Are you not going to tell us?
I haven't said that he disintegrated. yet.
Oh
Well,
God, that's
no,
a new thing. Then.
The way we played it was that you were narrating everything as it happened, and so the way people were reacting, it wouldn't make sense that they didn't know at this point.
And plus,
It's tough to
and
retcon
plus,
what you
Z
didn't
read the
say.
book and everything, and that was the
Yeah, it happened.
yeah.
But yeah.
So everybody knows that he's disintegrated.
Yeah, everyone knows he's gone, like not alive.
Because you
anymore.
didn't.
This is unbeknownst to how I
There you go.
I'm sorry.
played.
Like I said,
Well, now
In
we-
your
Yeah.
in like your universe, like where did you stop telling the story?
I
yeah.
stopped when, as soon as I saw him like disappear. That's when I stopped. You know?
So you said you saw him disappear then?
No. Like
We'll hash this
Yeah,
out.
yeah. This is an off-camera discussion.
This
Sorry.
will not need to happen.
Yeah, sorry.
Brian, what is one story beat that they
Let's
haven't really
see.
followed up on?
It's hard to pick one.
Or-
There's a couple.
Aw.
It's
Save
now
it.
a good time to
I would
share.
say
Save a
Brian-
couple,
I was
yeah.
gonna say, I mean, because the slotty one was a good one, but I thought that you guys would hunt them a little harder. That would have yielded some interesting information. The elves of the Moonwood with the Drow, and the whole Garamond. Once Keth and Life showed up in the Beastlands, and you guys knew that Garamond was alive and was doing stuff, I thought that you might have at least tried to find some information out there, and that might have given you some more clues on your quest, your larger quest. Did you want me to share a story?
I was gonna
right
say,
now?
yeah, I think this was where I was going.
Well, this also locks it off. Like they're no longer allowed to go down this road.
No, I mean, if they want to go down this road, they still can.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to block anything off.
Oh, okay.
No, he's sharing some information.
I can handle things, however. I've been adapting to you guys all along, because it doesn't matter what I plan for a session, something different will happen.
Yep.
So the one thing that you guys have managed to have me prepare for was that I will not be prepared. And so,
I don't know what that's like.
no, you don't. Except I don't have drunk people.
Yeah.
Yet.
Not yet. No.
Coming
But
soon. Drunk chosen family.
CF stands for Reardon Red.
Oh man.
But so I have I have all of the bones of the story laid out, and I have as many different directions as I can think you guys are going in planned. And then when you don't go in any of them, I start scribbling furiously behind the screen as you pick the direction you're going in.
It's really fun because sometimes he'll message me and I'm on the other side of the country. He's like, I need stats for this right now. I'm like, done.
That has happened on more than
On
one
a lot of
occasion.
occasions. But anyways, so
So,
spoiler.
The reason why this Elves of the Moonwood thing is so interesting is because, as Callie has mentioned, her people have been massacred and they're down to 18, and she knows all of the remaining Elves of the Moonwood. And so when she heard me tell Kat, yeah, there are 2 Elves of the Moonwood out on a secret mission, and we know that Thorngil, who is her cousin, his parents are weapon makers, and they frequently were out on missions, and they were not at home, so it was just assumed that those were the elves in question. However, they are not. These elves here of the Moonwood that are off on the mission with the Pact of the New Moon are heretofore unmet elves who have a relation to at least one member of the extended universe.
Extended universe.
I know who they are. Maybe.
Yeah.
I think. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure.
If they were to ask, would you confirm or deny?
I would not.
No,
Absolutely
no.
not. No, this is
You gotta figure it out in the game, man.
there's still some good
I don't
stories
have
of,
to
like-
anymore.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
They know.
Yeah.
So I have one more question, but before I ask this question, I want to ask a different question.
So you have two questions.
That was very eloquent.
My name is Heard Happily. Before I ask this
Oh my
question,
gosh,
I would like to ask.
I've just been rewatching it with my boyfriend.
One
no,
more.
so my pre-last question
Penultimate.
is do you have any questions for each other? I'm going to say you can't ask an everyone question. Each person can ask one question of one other person who's sitting here. You do not have to if you do not want to. But if you have a question, I want to open it up to you.
Where did that lightning come from?
Bahamut.
Okay.
Oh, okay, cool. Nice.
Nice.
Yes, but while he cannot physically come to this plane, he can use divine intervention on occasion.
Oh, okay.
There's a cleric spell called Divine Intervention that like Nosferatu could cast like every day, where you have like your
11%
level.
chance.
Yeah.
And he
So
cast it.
Yeah, he cast. He's trying to revive
It's,
Kendra.
it's every 7 days.
No, only if it works.
Oh, really?
If it doesn't work, you can cast it every day.
Hmm.
Anyways, sorry. Any other questions for each other? You already asked your question. You're done.
Oh, I only got the one.
Yep.
Yep.
I said
Okay.
the rules are you can ask one question and it can be for one other person.
Oh, okay. All right. Good.
Everybody gets one.
That's fine.
All right. Callie's a pass.
Yeah.
Z.
How conflicted is Nosferatu right now? Because the majority of the arguments that Z has had with him, he's kind of like not known which way was right and which way was wrong, and kind of gone with the, like apologized to Amrani after the conversation that he had, but Z is still unaware that he apologized to Amrani. So in Z's mind, Nosferatu still views her as a tool. Was he saying that to placate Amrani, or was he saying it because he honestly felt that way, and does he still feel like she's a tool to be used at his discretion?
Nosferatu is extremely, extremely conflicted right now.
Okay.
Extremely. I sort of had this idea that I would kind of move him from after the thing where like Nosferatu was like all gung ho, like I'm gonna heal everybody, like this guy helped us, we're gonna save him, and then like that sort of like backfired on him. Granted, it wasn't necessarily because it backfired on him because he revived the guy. It backfired on him because of how he reacted afterward. But in his mind, it was because of him saving the guy. It wasn't because of his reaction.
Right.
So he now, even though he was confirmed by Bahamut that he was right to save that man, he saw everyone around him sort of like respond negatively. So he's questioning Bahamut before. He's questioning like what is right, what is wrong. Z might be right. If we're in the end game now and if we don't win, then we lose and everything's gone. So maybe Bahamut is acting a little too good. Now, granted, Nosferatu's very wrong. He should have realized where the mistake was. He doesn't. So he's sort of in this mindset where I'm trying to bring him sort of to another extreme, like kind of what Tracy was talking about earlier, going one way, going another way, then kind of meeting in the middle. I'm kind of doing that with him, where I'm kind of bringing him the other way before I can kind of set him as like what he should be. So he's viewing things incorrectly. He's still trying his hardest. So like he felt bad about the way he treated Amrani and did apologize and did mean it. But I don't think this is going to be his last mistake in this sort of vein.
That makes sense.
Kat, do you have a question? Okay. Garrison,
No.
do you have a question for anyone, Ben?
No, I don't think I do. I'm surprised there aren't more questions.
I know,
for me.
I thought it was
17,
I'll
Yeah.
think of
10
a
minutes
ton
of
afterwards.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
It's fine. It'll probably happen in the chat or something. So my final question is how has D&D or the stream or this campaign in particular changed you as a person?
Oh shit. Who's got the rock?
I have the rock.
I'll take it.
I don't know why I got the rock. I don't need the rock. I'm not answering questions.
I have grown up in theater. I love theater. It's been a part of my life since I was very, very young. And since we had children, it's a lot harder to do theater because doing 4 or 5 nights a week of rehearsal is 4 or 5 nights a week of trying to find babysitters and things like that. And I was really missing having a consistent creative outlet because I'd get to do maybe 1 show a year, but that was it. And this has been such a beautiful, and in some ways even better than theater, enriching creative outlet because I still get to be a part of these characters' lives and learn about them, but I get to have a hand in creating them. I get to have a hand in directing where they go. I get to build multiple characters and live in different worlds on different nights. Through Fiasco, you get the spontaneity of developing this character that you live right then and then let go of forever. And then through D&D, especially through Chosen Family, it's this character that maintains where normally in theater you've got 6 weeks and then you have to say goodbye to this character and you're heartbroken and it's tearing you apart. And we didn't have to do that after 6 weeks. We get to keep going and keep enjoying the story. And so it's been fulfilling this creative part of me without having to pay $40 every time we have a rehearsal that we can't find a babysitter for. So yeah. Anyone else?
One of my favorite parts about this, and it's probably going to echo a lot of the same feelings of having this house filled with laughter and love, and to have the games going on and have that creative outlet. I echo everything Tracy said. Not only has it given me a better appreciation for some of the people in my life, like John and Tim and Garrison and Jaden, and like just people that I get to see. I have fallen more in love with my wife watching D&D because she is such an amazing storyteller, and we've been married, and we've gotten to know each other and been able to kind of share experiences together. But God, she is, and I'm going to gush, she is one of my favorite storytellers. Like and so honestly, one of my favorite things to come out of this is to fall more in love with her, not only as a character and the multitude of characters, but to like an extent be able to like share a connection more so with the other people at the table. But I enjoy immensely watching you storytell, from Zuki to Callie, and I didn't think it was possible to love an aspect of you that you are discovering at the same time as I'm discovering, but it's true. I think that's been one of my favorite parts. So
I'm gonna be real, I guess. When we rolled up characters, I was unemployed and in a relationship that was not healthy, and just in a place in my life that wasn't ideal. And D&D sort of, it created a way for you sit around this table and your problems don't matter anymore. and it's now you have to fight dragons and you have to use your magic, and it's like, to people that don't play or watch or whatever, it sounds dumb. But the ability to just, when you encounter a problem, to swing a sword at it or to shoot a fireball at it is very therapeutic. And John's problems don't matter when I get in this room, and Reardon's problems don't matter when I leave. And having that separation really helps. And not only that, we were part of an improv group for like over a year before we started this campaign. And I feel like the campaign really made us click together as creative storytellers, which is something that's incredibly important, not only as storytellers, but as friends. Because through the support system that I gained with both improv and D&D and everything that we have done together, I was able to get out of a toxic relationship. I was able to not only find a job, but be able to say, no, I'm actually better than this, and leave that job for a job that actually I feel values me. So, and deal with some other stuff that I won't say because it will actually legitimately bum people out. But there was a specific day last year in July, and people that know me know which day I'm talking about. And it was a very difficult day, and I had work that morning. And I was a manager at a pizza place, and I straight up told the people that I was working with, hey, I'm not okay today, but I need you to pretend that I am. I need you to pretend like everything is fine, because I need to get through today. Because tonight, what I'm dealing with won't matter. Tonight, I get to be magic, and I get to swing swords at things, and I get to forget the horrible thing that happened today. And so, being here with these people has saved me a little bit. And I act way more aggressive than I mean to.
Oh my gosh, we're all gonna start crying.
But no, yeah, that's my goal. Every time you see me on stream, prepare for tears. But no, there's an incredible value to what we have here, and I don't express enough how much I value it, and I just want you guys to know. And, you know, everyone out there, like Firehawk and Wolf and Jack Walk and everyone there, you guys are just the ones I saw, but everyone that's in the stream and everyone that has been part of our campaign, Trevor, Tim, William, Heath, I mean everyone that has sort of lended a hand to get us where we are now, to get me sitting here and talking about how therapeutic it is to, you know, throw pieces of plastic and rejoice at the numbers that show up. Numbers!
They're like
Yeah.
numbers, but different.
Exactly. That is exactly it. So honestly, I can't thank anyone enough. So, who wants to go next?
I came into this game, like I said, in March, which is not that long ago
No.
at all. You know, I was given a character to play for a one-hand spin-off, and that's what I was instructed for. You know, that's what I had prepared for, was just, I was going to be here for a night, I was going to be a guest, and it would be a fun little experiment. I would get to meet, this is my boyfriend.
Thank God, I was so confused.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I don't know if you met him yet.
I'm so.
He invited me, and I was like, great, I can't wait to like get to know his friends a little bit better, because I had met them for 5 seconds after an improv show or two. And I walked in, and I was greeted by the most welcoming and supportive and kind individuals that I had ever met. This one, Billy, he comes over to me and he says, we got you these dice. Their theme's Pascal dice, so they're green and gold, just like your favorite character. So go ahead and have this as a gift to use. You're always welcome here. And I was like emotional. I am emotional.
Only weirdos get emotional about D&D. Pack it up.
I was emotional, and it was at a time with my work life and with my social life where I kind of needed like distance and like space because the spaces that I'm in are they're kind of like a bubble where everything is so important there, and if you make a wrong step or you look at somebody the wrong way, like that can be very, 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 very bad. And there can be a lot of drama, and I could just come here and know that there was a group of people who would support me and care for me no matter what. So I'm just very thankful for the friends that I've received, because you did not have to welcome me in that way. You could have been like, bye, thanks for playing this one time. You were nice, thanks for trying to kill us.
I'm gonna need those dice back.
So I think that's what I really appreciate is you really gain a family. And that's something that I mean, back at home I have my mom and that's it, and I had theaters. The theaters only last for, a little bit, and this is like a good family that I was able to get in Florida because I've lived here for a year and a half and I haven't really had one since. So.
Yeah, we're your family now. Harrison?
Chosen family.
I was gonna say there's a reason this campaign is called Chosen Family, and it's because we are one big happy family.
No, it's because Z.
Let's say maybe not happy all the time, but
It's because Z got drunk and named us that.
yeah, it's because he got drunk and named us that. But there's some truth in there.
I mean, after everything you guys said, I just want to say, this game means nothing to me. I just come to have fun.
That's actually why we called you here today. Take it more seriously.
Garrison, come on.
Come on.
Garrison, read the room.
You come for the whipped cream, we know.
I come for the whipped cream, stay
God.
for the whipped cream. No, seriously, my favorite thing ever, is being around people. Like, that may sound kind of odd, but, I just love being around people so much. No, seriously. It's
I really hope
my
there's a
favorite
point
thing,
coming.
If the whole, if you're stuck on an island, what would you bring? I'd bring other people. Because I would go crazy.
Great, now we're all stuck on the island.
Yeah, doing us all. Jeez.
Don't worry, I'll bring two things. I'll bring all of you, that's one thing, and D&D. I'll bring some dice, that's two things.
Now hang on,
hang
let him finish.
Hang on. Yeah,
This isn't about
I've never been on an island.
And these people are honestly my favorite people in the entire world. Like I could be having any sort of day if it's rough, like there's some weird stresses or whatever, and I'll just get one of our 500 group chats will start going off, and it's just the funniest thing ever. Trevor and Heath are just going at it with jokes, and I.
Good God. They get aggressive.
And
We need a new group chat to discuss this.
we need a group chat to discuss this.
Sorry, Trevor.
This sort of group we've gotten together for D&D and improv, that. Honestly, John, I have to thank you for, because you're the
What
one who
did
got
I
us
do?
together. You're the one who brought the band together in the first
You
place.
got too old to do the kids improv.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Yeah, and
yeah.
that's
exactly.
No. Okay. All right. So I'll take credit. I mean, all right. So hold on. All right. So let's outline credit. Brian gets credit for instilling the love of improv into our hearts.
Yes.
I get credit for creating the adult group, and then Billy gets credit for saying, "Hey guys, do you want to play D&D?"
Yeah. Yeah. And now there's, at minimum, 2 nights a week I get to spend with my favorite people. Improv rehearsal and then D&D. I get to hang out with you guys. We get to laugh together. I get to be with my girlfriend. I get to be with Billy, which is just as important to me. And
We know it's kind of weird.
James been meaning to talk to you.
I'm
about
not jealous or anything. I'm not jealous. I'm not jealous. I'm
Please,
not jealous.
Billy
I'm
gush
not
about
jealous.
you. Let Garrison gush about Billy.
and now Jaden has stolen Billy from me, and it makes me no. There's minimum 2 nights a week I get to hang out with these guys, and there's usually more. We'll have other game nights. We'll have nights where we just get together and play VR or Devour and Dread, or
Oh my gosh.
we've had movie nights. We've gone out to movies. We've played D&D at Disney World before. You know, like that
achievement unlocked.
was part of the 20-day streak.
was we go to escape rooms together.
We take a break from hanging out with each other by hanging out.
Yeah, with each other.
Yeah, honestly.
Man, it's been a long week of hanging out. We should hang out.
We should hang out to just unwind. Honestly, our version of hanging out, like, we could literally record it because it would literally be this.
It would be the
Yeah.
same.
It would just be this.
It was-
I would be on the couch, though, because my butt hurts.
And it was just,
You're good.
My legs hurt.
and it's just been 2 years. It's just been 2 years of hanging out with with the best people I've ever met, playing games, like living life with you guys, like growing together, like you guys knew me back when I in high school, like where I was, no job, like never been in a relationship,
Yeah.
like I was
You were a dork.
a dork, and now I'm not a dork because I play D&D and do improv. The dorkiness is gone.
Totally.
It's gone. No, but I don't know. I just feel like I've grown with you guys, and like I've gotten to experience like new aspects of life, and you guys have been a part of that. And I can't thank any of you enough for everything you've done for me, and like how welcoming you were when Jaden came, and now I get to hang out with my favorite people and my favorite person at the same time.
Dad,
No, that was a good save there, because I thought you were going to go, I got to hang out with my favorite people and my girlfriend. I was going to go,
My favorite people and my favorite person.
That could have been.
so I was saying, so your favorite people and Billy?
And Billy.
Yeah.
My favoriteest person.
So, D&D has been in my life, and gaming in general has been in my life for a long, long time. And for most of my life, it made me an outcast. It made me decidedly uncool and the target of scorn and ridicule. And,
You got bullied at Target?
yes. Yes, I did. And it wasn't just because I wore a red shirt and khaki pants.
They'll get you. They will get you.
But yeah, they will, bastards. And then about a year and a half or a little more than that ago, I was in a pretty dark place. A relationship I was in ended, and I was not expecting to end. I was expecting to propose, and she left, and it was bad. And these people here, and Heath and Tim and Trevor, became my support system, and they were like, we got you. This is like the breakup happened right before Christmas. Billy said, "You're spending Christmas with us," and so Christmas morning I showed up here with a little something for the boys, and sat in my pajamas all day, and we played games and watched movies and ate bad food, and then along came the D&D campaign, and they're like, "Who wants to play D&D?" And I'm like, "I'll DM. I've been doing it for years. I love it." And it fulfilled that creative outlet that I needed so desperately because of my work travel schedule. I couldn't do theater. I couldn't rehearse for shows and stuff. And these people became my family. They, like John said, they saved me. I was not in a good place, and I don't think I could have gotten to... I needed to get myself to that good place, but I couldn't have done it without help. And, this gang of people here... I would absolutely be lost without them, and
That's great.
There we go. We've been teetering on the edge.
we have. Well, it's emotional. I'm not sure if it comes across how close we are to each other out there, but
Seriously, like if I farted, everyone would die.
I would.
Thanks, John.
No,
There is not a thing that I wouldn't do for anyone in this room. If they needed my last $100, I would give it without hesitation. So when it's a D&D night, and it's like, hey, I'm cooking shepherd's pie. It's not to show off my cooking skills. It's because I need them.
A little bit. No, it could be both.
It's because I need to show them how much I love them, and I need them to know what they mean in my life. And cooking is one of the ways that I can show it. Telling an amazing story with them is one of the ways I can show it. And so I'm gonna give this rock up before it gets any worse.
Oh, damn it! You replaced the answer rock with the crying rock.
Come
But no, I mean, for me as well, like D&D, I'm not going to go into as long of an answer because nobody's here to listen to me talk, but D&D has given me a community. Like, even on the internet, I met so many friends through D&D Beyond who have then kind of come over and become our Plaster Dragon family, so you guys are a part of this family
Yes.
too. Subs was here last night, and he kind of found out that if you're in that Discord, you are our family. And we're going to treat you pretty much just the same as everyone else here. And it also, when I moved across the country to go to college, it allowed me to have a very close relationship with my dad, which was super important to me, and keep that closeness. So we love it so much. And on that note, let's do a giveaway.
Yeah.
Let's give away a rock. I mean, a coin.
Yeah, let's give away.
Do we want to give away the rock, or do we need it?
The crying rock.
The crying rock.
The crying rock.
So you
No
have,
one wants
you have
it.
like 10 more seconds
I got
to
enough
type in
peace
the
last
chat.
week.
Question rock if you haven't already, and then Firehawk is gonna do the giveaway because she's the only one who knows how to do it.
Oh,
All right, Astro, we will be contacting you for your address so we can send you that question rock. Thank you,
No, the
Soy.
coin.
Sorry.
Coin. No, we're not gonna make. I'm sorry, Astro. You're cool, but not that cool.
You're not cool enough to
Well,
get the
hang
question.
on. We can make him a question
We'll
rock.
make, okay,
I mean, we
Astro,
can-
we will send you both a question rock and a coin, because I said it. and
Literally
so now we have
all.
to.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. Thank you so much, everyone.
I was gonna say, it's like I was excited when I saw it was Astromancer, but any of the names,
Yeah, I was
everyone
saying-
in our community, any of the names
Yeah.
that popped up there,
I
I would have
was
been
super
excited because
excited.
I adore all of you up there. I have
Um,
special fond memories of everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone,
Thank you,
for
Josh.
Josh.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Josh, for producing for us and being amazing and setting up
Trogdor!
cameras, which I've never done before. Thank you to my guests for joining me on the McCoy couch and answering questions and being amazing as always. And thank you for tuning in. We will see you around and have a great day. And
See you
may
tomorrow on
all-
Chosen
yeah,
Family.
see-
Oh, God,
may
I
all
can't
your
wait.
roles be 20s.
Oh, my God.